Hi everyone. If you're looking at this little folding e-bike and wondering, is that actually practical or is it just a toy with a motor? That was basically my first question too. This is a compact folding electric bike, and the biggest reason I was interested in it was simple. I wanted something small enough to store easily, but still useful enough for quick rides around town. Not everyone has space for a full-size e-bike, and not everyone wants to deal with a big heavy frame every time they need to run a short errand. So for me, the folding design was one of the main things that stood out. Right out of the box, the first impression was pretty good. The packaging was neat, and the bike arrived mostly assembled. I still had to put a few things together, but the assembly process was not difficult. If you have basic common sense and take your time, it's pretty straightforward. I spent around 30 minutes setting it up, mostly because I slowed down on the front wheel and wanted to make sure everything was lined up correctly. There were a couple of extra bolts and nuts that made me pause for a second, and the instruction booklet could definitely be more detailed. But overall, it was manageable. Once assembled, the bike feels sturdier than I expected for something this small. It has a compact look, but it doesn't feel flimsy. The frame feels solid, the folding clamps are simple, and the whole thing has that small but useful feel. Folded up, it's easy to picture it going into a car trunk, under a desk, or tucked away at a small apartment. That's probably one of its strongest features. If storage space matters to you, this bike makes a lot of sense. The ride itself is smooth on good pavement. On city streets, sidewalks, and smoother roads, it feels satisfying and easy to control. The small wheels give it a quick, compact feel, and the bike is easy to maneuver. It's not the same feeling as a big full-size bicycle, but for short commutes, neighborhood rides, or cruising around, it does the job well. The shocks help more than I expected on rougher side streets, and the bike feels surprisingly stable for its size. That said, the tiny tires do have limits. I would not expect this bike to roll confidently over big potholes or really rough pavement. It can handle bumps better than it looks like it should, but you still need to pay attention to the road. This is more of a city and around town e-bike than something I would choose for rough terrain. Performance is where the experience depends a lot on how you ride it. The bike can get up to around 20 miles per hour, and for commuting or casual cruising, that speed feels just right. It's fast enough to be useful without feeling out of control. The throttle makes it easy to get moving, and the pedal assist helps take effort out of normal riding. On flat roads and slight inclines, it feels smooth and comfortable. The pedal assist does have a little quirk to it. It can kick in slightly slower than expected, and it may stay engaged for a second or two after you stop pedaling. It's not a deal breaker, but it takes a little getting used to. The cable brakes also feel a bit touchy at first, so I'd recommend spending a few minutes in a safe area getting comfortable before riding in busier places. The motor is described as 500 watts peak, and in normal flat riding, it feels capable for a compact bike. Around town, it has enough power to keep things enjoyable. On hills though, expectations matter. Some slight uphill climbs are fine, but I would not buy this expecting it to blast up every hill with no effort. If you live in a very hilly area, that's something to think about. For flatter neighborhoods, campuses, short commutes and errands, it feels much more at home. Battery life is another area where real-world use can vary. The removable 48 volts battery is very convenient because you can take it off and charge it separately at home or work. I also like that the throttle shuts off while charging, and the charging block shuts off when the battery is full. The removable design is a big plus, but you do have to remember to unplug and plug it back into the motor properly. For casual riding, the battery has been enough for getting around town. If I ride faster, especially close to 20 miles per hour or in sport mode, the range drops more quickly. I noticed that with only 4 battery bars, it's a little hard to judge exactly how much power is left. I really wish the display gave more precise information, like a clearer battery percentage or remaining distance estimate. The display can also be hard to see outside in bright daylight, which makes checking the battery while riding more difficult than it should be. Comfort is mostly good, but the seat is one area to watch. The ride itself is comfortable enough for short trips, and the bike feels stable, but the seat height clamp needs to be tightened properly. If it slips while riding, that can get annoying quickly. I also would have liked a few extra practical touches, like foot pegs for a passenger, a built-in horn, or a speedometer. The back seat area is useful though, and with a bungee, it can work like a small rack for carrying something light. Overall, I think this compact folding e-bike makes the most sense for someone who wants portability first. It's easy to store, easy to transport, fairly simple to assemble, and fun to ride on smoother roads. It feels like a strong value for the price, especially if your needs are short commutes, errands, neighborhood cruising, or keeping a small e-bike in a car trunk or apartment. It is not perfect. The instructions could be better. The display could be easier to read, the battery indicator could be more detailed, and hill performance depends on the situation. But as a small, folding, single-gear electric bike that's convenient and enjoyable for everyday use, it does a lot right. If you want a compact e-bike that's portable, easy to manage, and comfortable for city-style riding, this one is definitely worth considering. If you have any questions about this product, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.